Hello, I'm DT Pollard, and I'm an author, an entrepreneur, and I'm really disturbed by some of the things I have listened to and watched coming from some members of the black community concerning Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, particularly the support of Donald Trump that's being blasted out there, sometimes by well known celebrities with big platforms, and sometimes by just regular folks walking around with a MAGA hat on, and some even more enthusiastic than that about Donald Trump. So, one of the things I want to talk about is this aversion to Kamala Harris. Now, I've heard everything from she's not black to she locked up so many black men when she was the attorney general for the state of California. First of all, on the she's not black part, just look up one drop rule. Just put it in your Google search or whatever search engine you use and look it up. Then get back to me on the is she considered black part. The attorney general part, I heard some pastor online saying that if you were a black man and you ended up in Kamala Harris Attorney General's office on trial, just skip the trial and go to jail. Well, the last time I checked, and in all my years, I've never had a knock on my door saying you're invited to come down to the Attorney General's office and go on trial. The question becomes, why were they there? Last I checked, you had to do something to end up on trial. And if you ended up on trial, and if the Attorney General is doing their job and has the goods, because usually, the Department of Justice or an Attorney General's office or whoever it may be, they don't bring charges unless they have the goods to win. Down in Georgia, found out Fonnie Willis, she had some famous rappers on trial. She must have had the goods to get them in the courtroom. Okay, so that aside, I was driving down a street through what would be considered the hood where I live. The projects are on one side. And on the other side of the road was a sign that said Trump 2024 that was taller than I was and about 4 to 5 feet wide. And I'm thinking, this doesn't make any sense. You see, I was born and lived in that great America that Trump say he's going to take everybody back to. I started school at a Jim Crow elementary school. White school up the street was much closer to my house. So the first 2 years I went to that Jim Crow school. We had to hand me down books, secondhand materials. But what I found out is 1 plus 1 equal 2 in the old books and the new books. And that's what I focused on. So this great America where I couldn't go to the same school as everybody else, where I can only, and my parents could only shop in certain places, where we couldn't eat in the dining room of restaurants, all of these things that Trump said made America great. It wasn't great for people like me, or for people like some of these folks that are saying they're for Trump. They got all kind of reasons. Um, you know, some actually think the stimulus came from Trump. Well, the stimulus came from the United States Treasury. That was your tax money. Trump just insisted that they put some letter, fake check, whatever, in the mailing with his signature on it. And I kept thinking, man, I mean, how gullible does he think people are? But guess what? I hear people bring up, when we had Trump, we got the stimulus. I've even heard people bring up, we had Trump, we had the PPE loans. No, it wasn't because of Trump. It was because of the pandemic, COVID, trying to keep the economy going. If you got a PPE loan and you didn't have a business that deserved a PPE loan, just Google it and see how many people have been picked up and locked up for falsely getting PPE loans. So that was not candy. That was not the chicken in every pot thing, if you're old enough to remember that. The other thing I want to talk about is Trump has written down, or his cohorts have written down, everything they plan to do to you in this Project 2025. From, basically ending Social Security and Medicaid, Medicare, to ending overtime pay. Oh, that caught some people's attention, right? Curtailing veteran benefits. And guess where all of this is going to go? It's going to go up to the top, to his rich friends and benefactors. So if you're not in a financial position to benefit, and I would say that probably starts at the very low end, over $500,000 a year of income, and you don't have all these assets that you're protecting. Because the real situation is, and I have it in this book I wrote called 1/8 of a Man, Hate for the Skin of Men, is in 2017, the Federal Reserve did a survey on net worth in the United States. And the median net worth of a black family in the United States was 1/8 that of a white family in the United States. Now, they did this survey on 2017 data. 4 years later, 2021, they did another survey. Guess what happened in those 4 years? Donald Trump was president. So what happened to that net worth position? In the new survey, they found that the median net worth of a black family stayed the same. It was in the $35,000, $36,000 range. The median net worth of a white family increased by about $60,000, I believe, if I remember correctly. So the median net worth of a black family was now worth 1/9 that of the median net worth of a white family. So you had Trump already. We lost ground because he was taking the money from the bottom, moving it to the top. The same thing for poor white folks. I drive around and I see Trump flags on the dilapidated houses, mobile homes that are falling apart. These folks are in the same boat with many of the black folks that are advocating for Trump. They just don't want to sit in the same section. But poor whites and the blacks that are not in the financial position to benefit, such as some of these wealthy celebrities that are telling you not to vote for Kamala Harris, are the feeder bands where their wealth is being taken and funneled up to the multimillionaires and billionaires that really benefit from what Trump is going to do with the taxes. So I said all this just to say that you can have your thoughts. You can have your, political leanings, but do some research. Find out what's real. Because one thing you know for sure is Kamala Harris is not running for president to stay out of prison.